Good afternoon, recreation community. Happy Saturday. It's a gorgeous day here in Colorado. And my name is Caitlin. I work with outdoor recreation out of Denver Parks and Rec. And today I'm going to bring you through some of my favorite meals to cook over a campfire. So as our state starts opening up state-run campsites, it's really important that you go ahead and check before you head out what sites are open to you at this time, or maybe plan some trips down the road, keeping social distancing in mind. But today, I'm going to show you 4 different meals if we have time. And I am filming from one of my good friend Rachel's places here, so she's helping us out today with our campfire spot and with filming. So thank you, Rachel.
Hi.
Alright, so with that, keeping social distancing in mind, if you're hanging out with folks that aren't part of your household, make sure that you're wearing those face coverings and keeping your 6 feet away. But with that, let's go ahead and see what we have going on. So I'm just going to kneel down here. I have a bunch of different things laid out and prepped for us already. If you have a backyard campfire, you can easily do this at home as well. But one of the first principles of L&T is to plan ahead and prepare. So if you are heading out into the backcountry, into a campsite that's already established, you're probably going to want to start off with making your ingredients already pre-chopped, already kind of planned out what you're going to need, and to have kind of a work area we have here. So our first meal goes back to my childhood when we were learning about camping and traveling in school. We have some foil packet meal, and if you caught my camping at home kind of presentation a couple weeks ago, I mentioned this. So I thought it would be fun to actually cook it today. So what you want to start with is, obviously you want to have a fire going on. And we have some really good coals already set. I recommend maybe giving your fire about an hour just to get some good coals already established before you even try cooking on it. That also is going to keep that smoke down. So when you're cooking with a campfire, it can be real easy to get some smoke in your face. So if you have a really good base of coals, that's going to help out with that issue. So for our first meal, I just put a little bit of olive oil down here. And you can really just put in any kind of meat or veggies that you want onto this foil. I'm going to go ahead and put some sweet potatoes I have here, some really good protein, some black beans. And if you have kids at home, this can be a super fun meal to get them involved in or camping, because they can kind of go ahead and pick whatever they want to put in their meal. We have some green pepper here, also some onion. I love garlic, I'm a sucker for it, so we're going to put quite a bit in there. It also helps with upset stomach, so if camping makes you a little nervous, throw a little garlic in your meal, it'll help out. And then some sweet corn. And I already have some sage here. You can feel free to kind of go crazy with any kind of spices you want to bring. Don't forget the salt and pepper. And this is also a really good meal to have with hot sauce. So at the end of the meal, we're going to hit it hard with that. And then some other ideas that you can kind of put in this meal. If you like to eat meat, really any kind of ground meat is good. Ground turkey, ground beef. Anything that's gonna kind of cook a little bit faster, so I recommend using ground meat if you're gonna go with that. And then you just want to give it a little stir once you have everything in there. Now when we're done cooking this over our fire, I go ahead and put a bunch of shredded cheese on there. So I have that prepped already to go for when we're at that point. And then it's important that you kind of get a good even layer going on with this foil. So I'm gonna wrap it 2 times. The first time, I'm just looking for that good flat base so that everything kind of cooks at the same time. So there's one wrap, and then we're going to do a second wrap over it. So notice that every part of my meal here is about level. And then when I roll it up, I want to give myself some good handles so that it will be easily retrieved from the fire. So this is meal number 1. We're going to go ahead and put it over here in our fire. And again, you want to kind of go for the coals. You don't necessarily want to have a really high flame going on, because that's going to be a little more volatile in the temperature. If you have coals going, they're going to stay pretty level throughout the day as you're cooking with that campfire. And again, also cutting down on your smoke. All right, so we're gonna let that sit with vegetables, probably just about 10 minutes or so until those sweet potatoes get kind of nice and tender. And then you can see we already have a couple meals started there, so Rachel and I are gonna be feasting here in a minute. But we would encourage you to try this. So let's go see what other meals we can make. All right, so this one is actually a new one for me, but a good old classic supposedly. And we're going to use these Campfire cookers. Basically, this is nice cast iron where we're going to make a mountain pie. If you don't know what a mountain pie is, it's kind of like the campers' cheat way to have pizza in the backcountry. So you can use bread for this. Actually, you want to first start off by buttering or putting some olive oil or some kind of fat on the inside of this so that it doesn't burn. So we're going to go ahead and give a good amount of butter so things don't stick and burn to the cast iron here. And I hope you folks at home are starting to get hungry, because I am. I don't want to be the only one in that boat. All right, so you can use bread for this. I have on hand just some kind of burger buns here. And you just want to go ahead and place them top down on that cast iron. And from here, we're going to make our pizza pie. So I have some pasta sauce here that was already used earlier this week. It's a really good way to use up some of that tomato. And I'm just going to put about a tablespoon on each of these pieces of bread here. And the cool thing about this too is, again, if you have kids that are really interested in doing some cooking with you, this is a really fun meal that they can be involved in too. It's very simple and quick to make. So on my pizza pie, I like to have lots of cheese. So we're gonna put on our cheese next. If you wanna put your toppings on next, that's a personal choice, go for it. But I'm just gonna do a little mound of cheese on each side, and then I'm gonna put my toppings on from there. And with mountain pies, the cool thing about this, you can also make these sweet. So if you already have a savory meal happening, you could use things like, I don't know, things like pie filling from a can, or any kind of fruit, any kind of sugar cinnamon combo, marshmallows, chocolate, any of that stuff is really good in this as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some green pepper here. And one other note, always make sure that you're using some hand sanitizer or freshly washed hands before assembling these, especially if you're gonna be sharing them with anyone else in your family. All right, and again, you can feel free to throw on some pepperoni or any kind of topping that you want here. I'm just going to give it a little salt and pepper before we close it up. And now you have kind of your camping version of pizza. And just for good measure, I'm going to throw just a little bit more cheese on here, on just this one side. All right, so now that we have this assembled, you want to very carefully kind of top these over here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just with my hands to avoid losing all that good stuff in there. It's going to be so good. And then we just go ahead and close this as best we can. It's okay to smush it. It's going to get nice and toasty in there. So these are pretty heavy. So just make sure that if you're walking around, you don't smack someone with it. Hey, pups. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and find a good spot to put this. You wanna let it cook for roughly maybe 5 minutes on each side. And it's better if you can make sure that this locking mechanism stays like so. Woo. All right. Now, that is 2 of our 4 meals. So next we're going to move on to something that is sweet. And this one I'm going to go pretty quick so we can make sure that we get to all 4 meals here. But we're going to start with a banana. And again, we're going to be using foil for this. And all you want to do is just cut the banana down the middle here and kind of make like an open-faced banana sundae. So I have some other toppings for this, such as marshmallows. Again, another really great thing to do with kids, or just to enjoy a little sweet tooth something as an adult. I also have some chocolate chips. You want to kind of keep these away from the sun because you can already see these are melting. So this is maybe a good one to have in winter time, or just keep that chocolate in the cooler. I also have some slivered almonds here, and just a little bit of brown sugar to keep this caramelized here. All right, that looks good. So we're just gonna go ahead, try to squish that together, wrap it up and throw it again on the coals. So again, these are kind of little banana boats. You can put whatever topping you want in there. Peanut butter is good as well, some jam, fresh fruit. I especially like the coconut marshmallow chocolate combo myself. All right, so that's 3 meals right there. We're gonna do one last one real quick. And I'm just gonna give a nice rotation with everything that I have on here already, making sure that I'm just being mindful of the fire because it's pretty hot, but that's looking pretty good. All right, so this last one we're gonna do, super simple, and it is called bread on a stick. Super easy way to get some nice yummy buttery carbs in there. I'm gonna take a can of crescent rolls here. Hopefully that opens up. But basically all I'm gonna do is once I get this open, I'm gonna take these croissant, the already made dough, and just wrap it around a stick and roast it like I'm roasting a marshmallow. All right, of course this one is not gonna wanna open for me. Oh, there we go. All right, so you're just gonna take that croissant dough, about that background noise. Sounds like our community's having fun outside on the gorgeous day. But we're basically just going to take this dough. You can be a little neater than I am with this. And if you don't have any kind of prongs or anything like that, you can just find a stick. And we're just going to wrap it around like so. It to make sure that it stays on there. And then we're just gonna get a nice camp chair, maybe a good talk going on with your family, or just some nice silence out in the wilderness, and just roast this up until it's done. So hopefully these have been some good campfire meal ideas for you. We're about out of time, but again, we had our foil meal with any kind of veggies or meat that you want on there. Be sure to season it to your liking. Utilize that hot sauce. And then we had our banana boats, we have our mountain pie, and our bread on a stick. So when you're cooking with Campfire, a couple of things to keep in mind. Just make sure that you have some kind of source, like water, to be able to put it out if it gets a little bit out of hand. Make sure that you're able to manage it. And then just rotate your meals every 5 to 10 minutes or so to avoid burning, and just keep an eye on it and check on it. Sometimes things will cook a lot faster in the summertime. Sometimes you need to just give it an extra 5 minutes if the weather's colder outside. So with that, that is our episode for the day. Again, my name is Caitlin, and I'm with Denver Parks and Recreation. Be sure to go ahead to denvergov.org/recreation and check out all of the other scheduling opportunities that we have with Facebook Live, Instagram, Zoom classes as well. And if you haven't already liked any of our Facebook pages or Instagram pages, go ahead and give us a shout out today. All right, signing off. As always, have fun, be safe, and we'll catch you next week.